Rev up your engines! Yes, the world has officially gone insane. It turns out in Hawaii now, people are renting U-Haul trucks to drive around in. They're not moving anything except themselves, but there's no rental cars. So they're renting U-Haul trucks. You know, they get crappy gas mileage, right? But I guess you get all the way to Hawaii, you want to get around, you need something, right? And then, of course, that makes a circular problem. Now the people that live in Hawaii, that want to move stuff with U-Haul trucks, they can't rent them because the tourists are driving around in the things. Some of the rental places in Hawaii are charging up to $700 a day to rent a car. I mean, we've lost our minds, you know? It's a typical capitalist greed, though. Whenever people think they can get away with something, they'll go ahead and do it. And if people pay it, they'll continue to charge. Just how it goes. There should be some kind of a underground economy in Hawaii there, where let's say the locals start doing Uber, right? $700 a day. Man, you can get a lot of Uber rides, right? Don't even rent a car if you go there. Let the locals Uber you around. Share your money with the locals instead of some greedy rental company. Hey, people of Hawaii, listen to Scotty. Start Ubering everyone around there. You can talk to the tourists. You can tell them about what's going on. It's a much better experience if you meet the locals. Whenever I go someplace, it drives my wife nuts, I talk to the locals all the time to learn about what goes on in places. I'm not just going to be coming in, looking at all the crappy touristy things. No, I like talking to locals and see what's going on. And if they're driving you around in a car, even more so. To heck with the car rental companies, Uber. And all you people in Hawaii, start Ubering people around. You can make some good money if they're charging $700 a day to rent a car, and they now have to rent a truck. Hey, you know how to drive around the islands. They're not that big, right? Who's going to meet who and the fun they're going to have? Stay away from the rental companies. I mean, really, you go to vacation in Hawaii, you spend 20, 30 grand, you're driving around a U-Haul truck? That's too much for me. Here we go, the height of insanity. Elon Musk now predicts that Tesla Model Y will be the best-selling vehicle in the world in 2022. All right, if that's true, Scotty's got a prediction. Pigs will fly in 2022. This guy's got a bigger line of baloney than I could possibly think of. I got one of those a couple weeks ago, Model Y. Was not impressed. Rode like crap. Yeah, it was fast, but the one that was here was $60-something thousand. Well, Elon's lost his marbles. You look at the best-selling vehicles, they're always lower-priced ones. Volkswagen Beetles, Toyota Corollas, Honda Civics. Not super expensive cars that have poor quality. He didn't even comprehend the car world. People are going to pay 65 grand up for a car that's loaded. They expect the fit and finish to be good, to ride like a dream. They ride like crap. The fit and finish is garbage. The hoods don't even close right. There's different gaps on them. He's living in La Land, especially since we saw the latest news. Company in China sold more of their cars than he sold in China for the month. Hey, and they just started. The Chinese just started doing this stuff. They can eat his lunch, and then Volkswagen's going to be into the mix soon, making them in Chattanooga, Tennessee. This guy's out of his marbles if he thinks his Model Y is going to be the best-selling model in the world. He just spouts nonsense, and people listen to him. I don't know. What's the world come to, you know? P.T. Barnum is leading a parade here? I just can't believe this stuff, you know? It's overpriced, under quality, rides like crap. For that kind of money, it'll never be the best-selling car in the world. I can guarantee you that. Pure statistics, almost always, the best-selling vehicle is the one that costs the least. Even with BMW, their best-selling vehicles were always their little 3 Series, not their big series, because people can afford them more. And when there's going to be other cars out there that are electric cars that cost a lot less, I mean a lot less. Some of these Chinese cars, you could buy 5 or 6 of them for the price of one Model Y Tesla. He's living in La La Land. Well, who didn't know that, you know? Now he's just proving it. Now here's something I couldn't make up. Don't turn your radio up too high in your Chevy Equinox or the windows might start coming down. Yes, I'm not making this up. 2018 to 2021 Equinoxes, if you turn your radio up too high, for some reason all that vibration makes the windows open a little bit. Now, it's not dangerous. I mean, rain can come in or something like that, right? But who knows? Maybe it would be dangerous to the health of the people in the car. Because if you're playing your music super loud and that makes the windows open, then everybody outside is going to hear your obnoxious loud music even more, and it might lead to some road rage. Who knows these days? If you have the music up too loud or the bass up too high, it turns out that the power motors can lose their memory functions, and then they open themselves up. Too much technology, maybe, you know, or at least too much technology for the poor build quality that General Motors has. And here's a solution. They're going to put a foam insulation panel between speakers and the door so the vibrations won't affect the motor as much. They'll cover it up with foam. Well, at least they didn't use duct tape, you know? And of course, GM, you know, they're electric. They always have electric problems anyways. Well, just another manifestation of their poor quality. I couldn't even have predicted this one. The windows are going to open and turn your radio up too loud. Biden's in it and now trying to push the EPA to restore California's power. Set their own lower auto emissions rules. Reversing the stuff that the Trump administration did. They say, well, California, you know, they're ahead of the curve. They're radical. They're going to do all the right things and the rest of the country will follow. Well, hey, let's use our noggins now. You notice how everybody seems to be leaving California because they tax too much? Maybe that's the real future, is that California leads the way of people leaving because they're overtaxed. Even Elon Musk left and went to Austin. If they think that that's the future, more regulations, more taxes, maybe we Americans will all revolt and move to Texas and Tennessee and other places where they're not taxed as much and not regulated as much. If they're going to let the state make their own regulations, maybe all the other states should make their regulations too. They can make less regulations and less taxes, and people will move there. People still have a choice. This is what they don't comprehend. Years ago in California, they had a deal where they were pushing electric cars, like with the original Chevy electric car, right? It was an amazing piece of crap. It failed miserably, but they said, oh, people need to get these electric cars, you know? You can tell people that, oh, here's what they should do. It doesn't mean that's what they're going to do. You can't force people. Just like with the regulations on better gas mileage, right? They're all highty-tighty. Oh, you're going to get 8,000 miles a gallon by the year 2030. Well, guess what? Look at Americans. It's going the exact opposite way. They're nuts about SUVs. They get horrible gas mileage SUVs because they're big vehicles, right? If they're pushing that, the regulations are saying better gas mileage is going against what these people are actually driving around. Maybe all the people that voted for Biden are going to turn around and say, oh, but we want our big SUV to drive kids to soccer in. And the man they voted in is going to say, no, you can't drive that. It gets bad gas mileage. We all know the implementation of anything. What the politicians say and what's actually implemented are generally two opposite things. So they're saying we're all going to be driving electric cars around. Well, let's see what really happens 4 years from now. There aren't going to be that many more people driving electric cars, believe me. Just because you believe something isn't going to make it real. Dodgeman says, how do I find out if someone messed with my gas tank, my O2 Ram 1500? The easiest way is to take a sample of the gasoline. There are many companies that you can send a sample of your gasoline to. They will analyze it and they'll tell you exactly what's in it. I've done that for customers that somehow got water in their gas tank. And then they say it's got this much water, this much that. And it's kind of interesting because you see what's actually in the fuel that you're burning. The gas companies will never tell you. That's all their trade secrets, right? But if you do suspect you got bad gas and your car's running poorly, my advice is to take it to a garage that can recycle the stuff and have them empty your gas tank, clean it out, change the filter, and then start all over again. Because you don't want to ruin it if you got water or crud in your gas tank. It could destroy your fuel injection system and if it's really bad stuff, so you'd want to have it drained out as soon as possible. But if you're curious about what's in it, there's many places that will analyze it, just like oil. Guys that are fanatics about their engines, they'll have their oil analyzed after so many oil changes to show how much metal wear occurs, what's in the oil, if it's diluted with gasoline. It's interesting stuff if you're really into the science of it. Brendan Terry says, will deleting my emergency brake affect normal braking? I have a Ford Freestar minivan. I'm getting ready to tear the e-brake handle out of it and cut the cable. Will that affect my regular brakes anyway? Will they be okay? Well, first, why do you want to do that? They're emergency brakes. They're there for a reason, an emergency, you know? You pull the cable, it makes the rear brakes lock up so it stays in place. If you take it off, no, your regular brakes will work perfectly fine. It isn't going to affect them at all. But you won't have any emergency brakes on. Technically, most places it's illegal to do that. You can't be driving a car that doesn't have emergency brakes. They're there for an emergency. If something really goes bad, you want to have something at least secondary that will eventually slow your vehicle. And of course, if you're parking on hills and stuff, it's a real good idea to have e-brakes because then it might slide down the hill if you don't have emergency brakes to keep it from going. I want to know is why are you taking it out? What is the reason that you're taking it out? I mean, if it's an old junker and they lock up and they're frozen on and you don't want to fix them and you're only using it for driving from here to there, you know, what the heck, a lot of people do that with junky old cars, but you'll have a hard time getting it inspected legally. Most places in the inspection, they check your e-brake and if it doesn't work, you fail the test. But it's not going to affect your normal braking, but I mean, really, why are you doing it in the first place? So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.